We just received word. It's a startling, sad story. Ray Liotta has died. The actor, a really good actor.
Hidden behind an iron gate in Los Feliz sits a decaying mansion once owned by Ray Liotta, an orphan turned legend who died far from home, leaving behind millions, heartbreak, mystery, and a legacy Hollywood never saw coming. This is the untold story of Ray Liotta, his abandoned home, hidden fortune, and the tragic end that shocked millions. Ray Liotta's journey didn't begin with red carpets or fame. It began in Newark, New Jersey on December 18, 1954, when an infant boy was left at an orphanage with no name, no family history, and no clue who his parents were. That baby would be adopted by Mary and Alfred Liotta, a working-class couple who couldn't offer a luxurious life, but who gave him love, stability, and a foundation he would later build an extraordinary career on. Growing up, Ray was quiet, thoughtful, and often felt the strange weight of not knowing where he came from. Years later, when he finally found his biological mother, he was stunned to learn he was mostly Scottish, not Italian, as he always believed. Another twist in a life filled with unexpected turns. In high school, Ray wasn't the kid dreaming about auditions or movie sets. Acting came later, almost by accident, when he attended the University of Miami and studied fine arts. On the stage, Ray discovered his superpower, becoming someone else. A criminal, a broken soul, a ghost, a hero. Acting wasn't just a passion. It was an identity that helped him escape the confusion of his own beginnings and step into lives far bigger and more dramatic than his own. After graduation, Ray moved to New York City with nothing but a dream and a stubborn work ethic. He bartended at a local theater, auditioned relentlessly, and hustled hard for every tiny role he could get. In 1978, his perseverance paid off when he landed a role on the soap opera, Another World. For 3 years, he became a familiar face in American households, but Ray wanted something more challenging, something raw, something cinematic. So he took another leap, this time to Los Angeles, where he started from scratch again. The struggle years in Hollywood tested him, but in 1986, his wild, unpredictable performance in Something Wild earned him a Golden Globe nomination. Then came Field of Dreams in 1989, where he played Shoeless Joe Jackson with a soft vulnerability that showed the world he wasn't just a tough guy actor. He had depth, humanity, and emotional power. But nothing would define him more than the role that landed at his feet in 1990. When Martin Scorsese cast Ray Liotta as Henry Hill in Goodfellas, everything changed. This wasn't just a performance, it was a transformation. Ray brought a jittery, dangerous, almost fragile realism to the role. A gangster who wasn't bulletproof, but broken, paranoid, and painfully human. The film became a global phenomenon, and Ray's performance was immortalized as one of the greatest in cinema history. Every nervous laugh, every frantic stare, every soft-spoken threat carved his legacy into Hollywood stone. Throughout the 90s and early 2000s, Ray kept working at full throttle, starring in films like Unlawful Entry, Copland, Phoenix, Identity, Blow, and Smokin' Aces. He also stepped into the world of video games in 2002, voicing Tommy Vercetti in Grand Theft Auto, Vice City. His gravelly intensity turned a digital character into a legend, even though he later admitted he was paid far less than the game's massive success deserved. He continued building a diverse career, winning an Emmy for a guest role on ER, narrating documentaries like Inside the Mafia, starring in critically acclaimed films, and taking on the lead in the TV series Shades of Blue, where he reportedly earned up to $150,000 per episode. Ray Liotta wasn't a brief Hollywood flame. He was a workhorse who never stopped improving, never stopped hustling, and never rested on the success of Goodfellas. But behind the fame, there were mysteries, like the abandoned house in Los Feliz. Hidden behind iron gates, the Spanish colonial mansion sits faded and forgotten. Dusty windows, empty rooms, a drained pool, a driveway no car has touched in years. Inside, the grand foyer still whispers old Hollywood charm, while scuffed checkered floors and dim shafts of sunlight give the home an eerie, frozen feeling. No one knows exactly how long Ray owned this property, or why he never lived in it. Some believe it was an investment. Others say it was meant to be a retreat. But when Ray died, the house remained empty, a time capsule of silence, untouched potential, and unanswered questions. While the Los Feliz house sat abandoned, Ray found real peace somewhere else, in the Pacific Palisades. The mansion he bought in 2003 for $2.7 million became his sanctuary. A warm, Mediterranean-style home with a sweeping staircase, a chef's kitchen, wooden beams, and massive windows glowing with California sunlight. But the real magic was outside, an infinity pool overlooking the Pacific Ocean, a spa tucked under palm trees, and a cozy fire pit where Ray would sit and watch sunsets in rare moments of calm. The home had 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, and a master suite that felt like a resort retreat. After his death, the home sold for nearly $5 million, a massive financial return on the place he once called home. Ray's taste in cars was just as interesting as his film roles. He owned a matte black Mercedes G-Class, powerful, bold, and muscular, a perfect reflection of his cinematic persona. He also appreciated the classics, a Buick Electra with a roaring V8 and a Chrysler Newport with understated vintage charm. Ray didn't collect cars for show. He collected vehicles that reflected different eras of his life and personality. Financially, Ray was far more successful than people realized. By the time of his passing, he had accumulated an estimated net worth of around $14 million. Major film roles earned him up to $3 million each. His television work brought steady income, and residuals from Goodfellas alone continued pouring in for decades. Add in real estate investments, brand endorsements, and royalties, and Ray quietly built a fortune without ever flaunting excessive wealth. Off-screen, Ray Liotta was described by loved ones as gentle, loving, funny, and deeply private. He married actress and producer Michelle Grace in 1997, and together they welcomed their daughter, Carson, who became the center of his world. Even after their divorce in 2004, Ray and Michelle remained close friends, co-parenting with love and mutual respect. Carson adored her father, later calling him her hero, her anchor, and her greatest inspiration. Later in life, Ray found love again with JC Nittolo, a warm, grounded presence who brought him stability and joy. They were engaged, planning a future together, when tragedy struck. While filming Dangerous Waters in the Dominican Republic, Ray Liotta died peacefully in his sleep on May 26, 2022, at the age of 67. The cause was linked to respiratory and heart complications caused by atherosclerosis. There was no dramatic final moment, just a quiet, unexpected end to a life marked by intensity, talent, and relentless effort. Hollywood mourned deeply. Co-stars, directors, and fans across the world paid tribute to the man who brought so much depth to every role he touched. In 2023, he received a posthumous star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a fitting honor for the man whose performances remain unforgettable. Ray Liotta left behind a fiancée who thought she had years ahead with him, a daughter who lost her best friend, an ex-wife who remained a true companion, and a world that will never forget the characters he created. He also left behind a fortune, valuable properties, and an abandoned mansion that stands as an eerie reminder of life's mysteries. But the real legacy he left behind wasn't money or homes. It was the feeling you get when you hear his voice. Watch that nervous smile, or see Henry Hill glide through the Copacabana in that iconic tracking shot. A reminder that some performances, and some people, never fade. Ray Liotta's story is a powerful reminder that greatness can be born from the most unexpected beginnings. If his journey moved you, tell me in the comments, which Ray Liotta moment or role stays with you the most? And if you'd like more deep dives like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a story.